This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. Today's video is on the lighter side, just some mindless entertainment of the dastardly duo. So apparently this week, now it's being reported, Harry is fleeing America. This cover is so dramatic over two nobodies. Now, you just can't make up these headlines. I mean, yes, you can make them up. But in any case, with all that's going on in the world, I think it would be a nice break to just read one of these BS stories that keeps getting put out. Notice on the cover here, there's no talk about Jay-Z or P. Diddy. Again, Harry and Meghan are being used to distract the public. So let's get into this article and have a little bit of fun. So according to Star magazine, you know, the magazine that Meghan Markle always turns to, Harry wants out. Well, we could have told you that one. But the article begins by saying, his passion was palpable. While promoting the next installment of his beloved Invictus Games, an international athletic competition for wounded, injured, and sick servicemen and women, Prince Harry broke with students who joined him at Vancouver's Seaforth Armory November 18th. Quoting William Ernst Henley's 1875 poem Invictus, which inspired the sporting event's name, he asked, "How many of you have felt struggles yourself and had to deal with it yourself without the help of family and friends?" Hinting at the poem's theme of courage and resilience. He added, "It's so important to know that when things get so hard, there's always a way back." Harry may be looking for that path himself, nearly 5 years after he and Meghan Markle stunned the world by leaving royal life to forge a new future together in California. There has been growing speculation that the prince, who turned 40 this fall, is at a crossroads. His relationship with his family is in tatters. He's alienated old friends, and more recently, he and Meghan, the woman he gave up the royal family for, seem to be leading separate lives. Harry and Meghan don't have the same connection they did early on, a source tells Star. They've grown apart. But according to Star, something has changed. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex used to be inseparable. There was a united front those first few years after they moved, explains the source. In recent months, though, the dynamics have changed. Harry's been focusing on his own philanthropic initiatives, frequently traveling outside the States to highlight his work. Okay, so let me pause for a second. What's interesting here is how they use this sentence. Harry's been focusing on his own philanthropic initiatives, frequently traveling outside the States to highlight his work. Okay, if you are an American, majority of us would say frequently traveling outside the U.S. We wouldn't say the States. Normally, it's foreigners who use that term, like Canada or the U.K. They refer to the United States as the States. So it does lead me to believe that someone, perhaps maybe it's Harry now, and his team that are putting out this article. I mean, we know that the Sussexes are putting these stories out. He is doing this on purpose. And you could see that in the Times interview to where he pretends he doesn't know who's putting these stories out about him divorcing and moving houses and buying places. You know, we can guess that it's them. So looking at this, I am pretty sure that it's Harry's team or someone from the British camp that is writing this article and setting this up and teeing this up for Harry. He wants to branch out on his own, explains the source, instead of being an appendage to Meghan. Meanwhile, Meghan remains focused on shoring up their shaky original plan to take Hollywood by the storm. Her interests appear to lie in furthering her own career, notes the source, and zeroing in on upcoming Netflix lifestyle show, her American Riviera Orchard brand, and investments in a growing portfolio of women-led businesses. She's also very publicly going it alone. The former Suit star raised some eyebrows, says the source, when she stepped out to support one of those ventures on November 15th. The same weekend, Harry appeared in Canada to promote February's winter-themed Invictus Games. Meghan partied at Venice, California's foodie hotspot for the launch of pal and longtime colorist Katie Lee's highbrow hippie hair care line. Meghan didn't seem to be missing her husband's presence. An Australian outlet reported of the Duchess' wild night that saw her acting single. Said a party insider, "It was a bit... Harry who? The night was all about her." Can someone please tell me when it's not about Meghan Markle? Every day, this woman is in the media for something. And just last night, it was posted by all the traditional outlets that Harry and Meghan use of Meghan attending some baby shower for the head of memberships of the Soho House, Samantha Stone, seen here in this photo. And as we're looking at this photo, it does appear that Marcus Anderson was also in attendance of this baby shower. Now, this is just my opinion, but I'm not 100% convinced that Meghan was invited to this baby shower. I think maybe she just showed up for this one photo. And we know in the past, Kelly has helped Meghan in instances to where some heavily edited photos had been introduced into the public domain at a tennis match, but I'm not so sure that this photo is Photoshop. I feel like they just showed up because Marcus was there, got their photo, and then left. Because when you look at all the other photos of the shower, nowhere are Kelly and Meghan seen. Even like in the distant back or just a corner of them, nowhere. As you can see, there's a group photo of, I think, most of the ladies that were there. Where are Kelly and Meghan? If you haven't heard, the Soho House hasn't been doing so well. So could this have been a publicity stunt? Absolutely. And then you have Meghan's friend of the hour, Kelly, tagging along just to have her name in the media. But as you can see here, Meghan's weird-looking expression and the way that the photo is directed, it's like all eyes centered on Meghan. So, of course, this was intentional. But there's only one picture of Meghan. And I personally feel that this was a setup. I don't think that the photo is fake. I think that it's a setup. I think the next logical question everybody should be asking is, who has a baby shower on a Wednesday night? When you look at how the media reported on this all at the same time, it was really this picture that went first, that was posted by Kelly on Instagram, followed by the rest of these photos that had been posted were by people in the industry, talking about PR industry. So was this coordinated? Oh yeah, definitely. And what's so sad about this is that Kelly appears almost thirsty to keep posting photos with Meghan because she wants the attention. Not saying that it's a good look for her, but she's doing it and it's giving her attention. So is she using Meghan? Oh, sure. But of course, this was strategically planned to be released, whether it be for Deflection. Yesterday was the release of the Heritage Foundation's filing, as well as how badly their Polo Netflix series had sucked and bombed. Perhaps maybe this is a way to deflect from some of that news. I think so. I also think it's deflection away from the Jay-Z and Diddy scandal. Because if these two are involved, you better believe that they don't want any attention being called to it, so why not flood the media with this BS and nonsense? I think it works for Hollywood all around. So let's go back to this tabloid article. So now they're shifting support. Sure. Some are calling it a professional separation, but there are fears the parents of Archie and little Betty are headed for a personal one, too. While Meghan seems content to remain in California, Harry says the source is desperate to leave. There's one big problem, however. The rogue royal has burned a lot of bridges. Though he was once the toast of London, his royal rift and continued battle with the UK press and government have left him with few allies. As he admitted in 2022, "I've lost a few friends in this process." And he might have nowhere to go. Last year, in an effort to revoke his U.S. visa, a conservative think tank sued the Department of Homeland Security, demanding to know if Harry had included his past use of such illegal drugs as magic mushrooms, cocaine, and ayahuasca, which he wrote about in his 2023 memoir Spare, in his visa application. Non-disclosure can result in deportation, while transparency could signal that he received special treatment from U.S. officials. In September, a judge ruled that Harry's privacy interests outweighs any public interests in his immigration paperwork and terminated the case. But that might not stop the new White House administration. Last February, incoming President Donald Trump, who previously called Meghan nasty after she labeled him misogynistic and divisive, told the UK Daily Express that he wouldn't protect the royal in the visa case, claiming he betrayed the Queen. That's unforgivable. As for the $4.7 million safe haven the Sussex reportedly purchased in Portugal this fall, it's not ready, says the source, musing of Harry's dwindling options. There's always Canada, or another Commonwealth nation. I think the Canadians would be pissed if they moved back to Canada and then having to pay for their security. No way. I don't think that would happen. I also don't think Harry would go to Africa because of the whole Baka people problem that's going on and bubbling up. He definitely doesn't want to address that. So where could Harry and Meghan go and be welcomed? Well, I'm sure China would take them in, or North Korea. Let's see if this is a turning point. He certainly can't look to Dad, King Charles III, or 42-year-old brother William. The royal family won't help him, adds the source. According to Charles's biographer, Robert Hardman, Harry's ongoing legal fight with the British government over a decision to remove security protections for him, Meghan, and their kids when in the UK has put Charles in an awkward position, afraid that Harry might use any private conversations they have against him in court. It's also difficult for the king to broker peace with Harry, the author claims, as long as Harry and William remain estranged. Charles loves his son, explains a second insider, but with the monarch still undergoing cancer treatment 10 months later, after his diagnosis, his focus is on grooming William to be king. Maybe sooner than he ever expected. All that aside, some say pride may be what's really holding Harry back. The couple Meghan once described like salt and pepper are holding on simply to spite the naysayers. They're very proud people who wouldn't want to prove their critics right, explains the source. Yet it may take more to keep them together. One of their marriage's strongest points was their shared vision of what they could do together to create change in the world, says the source. It doesn't bode well for their future if they continue to do their own thing. And there you have it, folks. Another rinse and repeat story of, are they together? Are they separated? Harry desperately wants to go home because he's miserable and misses his family, and Meghan staying put in California. I mean, this has been going on now, I think, a couple months. Yeah, I want to say since beginning of September, this weekly barrage of this couple on these tabloid magazines distracting the public away from other things that are more serious. Like, you would think that Star Magazine would talk about Jay-Z and the bombshell that dropped this week. But no, we have Harry and Meghan and their BS story taking the spotlight. Why? And I think it's because they are purposely being used to distract people from the seriousness of things that are happening in the world. I honestly do. And, to some degree, everything that's going on at this moment is so depressing that talking about these two fools almost feels cathartic, because they're such a joke and a comedy act that why not talk about them? You can't really take them serious, even though we have to, being that they are aligned with some of the most evil people on this planet. Their story is such a joke that for a moment we can sit back and just laugh at how stupid they look. Which brings me now to the next point that I'd like to make. This election season has taught us Hollywood and these A-list celebrities no longer have that kind of power anymore. When you look at all the A-listers that came out to endorse Kamala, such as J-Lo, Cardi B, Beyonce, you had Usher, Oprah, and it didn't do a thing to change America's mind to know that we were going in the wrong direction as a result of people like this. So I'm cautiously optimistic that things are going to take a turn for the better. The only thing that does concern me, though, is that what's the fallout going to be like when Trump takes office? Because all the damage that this administration has caused, we have yet to see. it's going to start coming out. I mean, yesterday, Antony Blinken went before Congress and admitted that we have been funding the Taliban. Another thing that came out was something that I have been telling everybody about Archwell Fugazi Public Charity and this Afghan resettlement, as money has been thrown at that to a tune of $9 billion. In yesterday's hearing, check out what Brian Mass from Florida had to say.
Here's one that I was entirely curious about, and maybe you could explain it to me. $3.5 billion transferred to the Afghan fund that is tended to protect the macro financial stability on behalf of the Afghan people? What the hell does that mean? Can you tell me? I don't know. That's a bunch of gibberish to me.
Happy to address all of this, Congressman. Thank you.
I'll give you one more before you address it.
Please.
Even worse, by the numbers, we've spent $9 billion to resettle 90,000, roughly, Afghan refugees here since the fall of Afghanistan. My simple Army math tells me that's about $100,000 a person. That's absurd.
So, Congressman, as I believe you know, the money that we provide and the international community provides is done through partners, implementing partners, UN agencies, NGOs. They have.
Yes, we could say that about all the State Department dollars, foreign NGOs, foreign countries, foreign companies, and in this case, foreign adversaries.
So each of these institutions, as verified by the department, has in place processes to make sure that the money that we provide and others provide is spent appropriately.
Yes, you heard that correct. 9 billion American taxpayer dollars that went into Operation Allies Welcome, which the Welcome Project was a part of, to funding events like walking in a public park. Estimating each Afghan approximately $100,000 to be used on helping them. So then why are these NGOs asking for people to donate money to help them get resettled? Where is that money going? I think we all know. I think we all know why Meghan is so gung-ho to be seen with these Afghan ladies and talking about community. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that either USAID or National Endowment for Democracy paid for Harry and Meghan's trip to Colombia and Nigeria. These are two strategic countries for the CIA in pushing their color revolution. Why do you think Harry and Meghan went there to talk about online harm? It's not because they care about those kids, it's because they're pushing censorship and pushing regulation. If they can get control of the information down there, then it's easier for the CIA to push their propaganda. This is what's going on. Meghan Markle would have never been able to pull off this Obama-Clinton Foundation setup that they have going on with Archwell Fugazi Public Charity in the UK, because every pound would have been tracked, traced, and accounted for if it came from the government. Here in the United States, it's not so transparent. In fact, it's very opaque, to where once money gets doled out from the Department of State into our foreign policy and it goes out the door to these foreign countries, that's pretty much it. It's not like we're asking these countries to give us an audit on what they spent the money on. Oh no. Once the money leaves here, it's done. And if Franny Marquez wrote a check to Harry and Meghan, we'll never know. Wait till Trump gets into office. It'll be interesting to see when he does allocate billions more into finding these trafficked children, if Harry and Meghan are all of a sudden going to focus on, oh, we need to save the kids, and start putting efforts towards that. Don't worry, folks. If Harry and Meghan are still together and they're not in jail, they will figure out a way to continue to grift off the backs of the American people. Bet on that. But what do you guys think? Definitely leave your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
I was such a fraud.